What's up, my G's, and welcome to my Dragon Quest journey, a series where I explore the world and stories of the Dragon Quest franchise. I've explored the world of Dragon Quest 1 and 2, and now it's time to finish the trilogy. Dragon Quest 3 is the prequel to Dragon Quest 1. You play as Erdrick, the legendary hero, and you learn how he gained the title of the legendary hero. The idea that I get to go back and dive into the lore of Dragon Quest 1 is awesome, and I can't wait to get started. Also, in the last video, I said that after I finish the first 100 chapters, I would do a video on the Dragon Quest The Adventures of Dai manga. But due to how long the video will be if I did 100 chapters, I decided I would do multiple videos. And that will be the next video I do, so look forward to that. This trilogy has been fun so far, and I'm excited to finally finish it. And with all that said, let's jump right in. Released on February 10, 1988, Dragon Quest III was the perfect prequel to the majorly successful Dragon Quest I. Only months after the first Final Fantasy, an urban myth was created about the Japanese government banning Enix from releasing Dragon Quest on weekdays because of people skipping work and school just to pick the game up and lining up outside of the store like when a new iPhone comes out. In North America, it was released as Dragon Warrior 3 in 1992. And in 1996, an enhanced remake was released for the Super Famicom, and that's the version I played, except with an English translation. Just like the other games, the story was written by Yuji Horii, and the artwork was done by Akira Toriyama. Koichi Sugiyama composed the music, and Dragon Quest III was developed by Chunsoft and published by Enix. The story was a nice extension to the original story in Dragon Quest, and it added more of a backstory to the legendary hero Erdrick. The monster designs were even better, and the designs for the different classes were unique and they looked great. The game included new music as well as some of the same music from the prior games. When you get to Alefgard, the music switches over to more familiar sounding music, and it really makes you feel like you were back in the world of the first game. In the remake, a cool cutscene was added to the beginning of the game even before you name your hero. The cutscene starts off at Ortega's house. We learn that his wife just gave birth to their child. In between scenes, we get some credits. The next scene shows the king of Aliahan telling his soldiers that the hero Ortega will be setting off on a journey to slay the archfiend Baramos. The following scene starts off with two people talking to Ortega's wife, and they hand her a helmet for her husband. She takes the helmet to her husband upstairs. She tries to change his mind about going on the journey until their son is older, and Ortega tells her that he is doing this for them. The archfiend Baramos will just continue to bring terror upon the world, and he needs to be defeated. Ortega sets off on his journey, and along the way ends up fainting in fatigue outside of a town where they help him recover. Refreshed and ready to go, Ortega continues his journey and ends up at the top of a volcano facing off against some sort of winged demon. The two are in battle and eventually Ortega defeats the demon, but not before it drags him into the depths of the volcano. News of what happened to the hero Ortega got to the king of Aliahan. With Ortega dead, there was no one left to challenge the archfiend Baramos, and they prepared for the worst. The cutscene ends and you start the game. Some years have passed, and your character, who is Ortega's son, is summoned to see the king of Aliahan on his 16th birthday, where he is given the challenge to defeat the archfiend Baramos. The hero goes to the tavern where he recruits 3 companions to help him on his journey. Along their journey, the hero learns of 6 magic orbs that have incredible power and that they were necessary to defeat the archfiend Baramos. They go on to save a young couple from a rogue and his gang and receive the black pepper from the young couple, which is traded for a ship at the port city of Portoga. With the ship, the hero travels the world looking for the 6 orbs that are used to revive the legendary bird Ramia. And with Ramia, they are able to fly over the tall mountains that surround the archfiend's castle. The hero and his friends make their way through the castle and approach Baramos where the battle begins. Baramos is strong and powerful, and the fight is long and difficult, but our heroes prevail. Baramos fades away and a warm light surrounds the area, healing the heroes. They hear a voice coming from above. It's the goddess Rubis, who then takes the heroes home. Back at Alien Hand Castle, the heroes talk to the king and he recognizes them as heroes and calls for a celebration. The soldiers rip out their trumpets and start playing the victory song. But before they can start, the castle starts to shake and turns dark, and the soldiers with their trumpets are shot down by lightning bolts. An even more powerful evil shows his face and tells everyone that every living thing is going to be demolished. His name is Zoma. He rips open a pit into the dark world where the hero and his companions go to defeat their even more powerful threat. Before they go down into the pit, the hero visits the Dragon Queen, who is on her last legs. She gives the hero a ball of light, and before she dies she lays a dragon egg that will eventually hatch into the Dragon King from Dragon Quest I. From there the heroes head into the dark world and end up at the town and castle of Tantegel. The dark world is the land of Alefgard. After talking to various people, the hero finds out that he is not the first person from the world above to make it here. They must be talking about Ortega. After talking to the king of Tantegel, the hero learns more about the evil shrouding this world in darkness. At Tantegel Castle, the hero finds the Sunstone. The heroes go on to find the tower of the goddess Rubis, who they then release from a curse. The goddess thanks them and is in their debt. She gives the hero a seal of Rubis, and they travel to the town of Melchido, where they get the rain staff at a shrine. With these 3 items, the hero trades them for a rainbow drop. Which is then used to create a bridge that allows the heroes to get to Zoma's castle. They arrive at Zoma's castle, which is the same castle that the Dragon King is located in the first Dragon Quest. While making their way to Zoma, the heroes see Ortega fighting the King Hydra. The King Hydra retreats back into the castle. With his dying breath, Ortega tells the hero that he is Ortega of Alien, and if they ever travel there to tell his wife and child what happened. That he is sorry he failed and that he couldn't be there for them. They continue searching the castle for Zoma. The hero and his companions finally make it to Zoma. After an exchange of words, the fight begins, and you first face off against the King Hydra. After defeating the King Hydra, the hero faces off against a revived Baramos, now turned into the Baramos Burros, and then Zombie Baramos. After those 2 fights, the hero finally faces off against Zoma. Zoma is very powerful, and the hero struggles to defeat him. The hero uses the ball of light that was given to him by the Dragon Queen, and that weakens Zoma. Zoma is unable to use magic, but his hits pack a punch. Eventually, the hero is able to overwhelm Zoma and is victorious. But before Zoma dies, he tells the hero that evil will eventually return to the world and that the hero will not be alive to stop it. The hero returns to the castle of Tantegel where he received the title of Erdrick, the legendary hero. The hero leaves the ball of light with the king of Tantegel, along with his sword, his shield, and his armor, for the next hero who would have to fight the eventual evil Zoma spoke of before his death. The story expanded the story of Erdrick that we already knew and added many little details to the lore of the Dragon Quest trilogy. The game was fun, and I find myself grinding a lot less than the previous games. I also found that I always had more than enough money to buy equipment for everyone in my party. If I ever did need a little extra cash, I bet some money in the arena, where the player can place bets on the outcome of monster battles. There was the new class system that was pretty cool, even though I didn't really take the time to dive into it because I didn't feel the need to. I was happy with my hero, who was my main attacker with heal spells and damage spells. I also had a soldier who was pure attacking, and oftentimes hit harder than the hero. Then I had the two sages that were able to heal and deal massive damage to all of the enemies. The class system lets you choose from 8 different classes, each with their own strengths as well as a gender for whatever character you were recruiting. Each character also had their own equipments and personality. Some of the personalities were gender specific, as well as the equipment. This gave the players a whole lot of combinations for creating characters they could use on their journey. There is a shrine that lets you change your character's class after level 20, but it will also bring the character back down to level 1. The character keeps the spells it learned from his prior class, and that means you can have a fighter with healing spells or attack spells. This meant that you could build a team that's best suited for your playstyle, and that's the best thing you can have in an RPG game. One of the first things you notice when you get into a fight is that the monsters have actual attack animations. The graphics in Dragon Quest III were pretty good, and a solid step up from the first 2 games. I loved the cutscene in the beginning when Ortega was fighting the winged beast on top of the volcano. It made my imagination jump right back into the Dragon Quest world, and after finishing the first 2 games, this got me really excited to start the game. After you beat the game, there was actually endgame content that ended with a battle with the god dragon Zenlong and gaining a wish. You can choose 1 out of 3 wishes. One of them includes reviving your father Ortega. Endgame content is something that JRPGs like this actually need. One of the things I love about Pokemon games is that after you beat the game, you can still go around collecting all the legendaries and completing your Pokedex, and the game doesn't just stop when you finish the story. All in all, the game was awesome to play, and a really good final touch to a great RPG trilogy. The fact that we got a prequel and a sequel was really good, and I don't think it would have been as good if we just got another sequel. There were a lot of questions answered with the prequel, and I think that's always important when making a story. The gameplay was fun, and I really had no complaints with this one. Dragon Quest III was my favorite game of the trilogy, and now that I'm done, I find myself wanting more and ready to jump into the next game. These games, as old as they are still very fun to play and make me realize why I love RPGs so much. Before I jump into Dragon Quest IV, I'm gonna make sure I dive into the first manga chapters of the Dragon Quest The Adventures of Dai manga. I've already read the first 50 chapters, and I've been working on getting a video out about them. Now that I'm done with the first trilogy, I think it's the perfect time to get that done before I jump into the next game. With the release of the new Dragon Quest The Adventures of Dai anime slowly approaching, I wanted to make sure that I at least read and understand everything about the manga it's based off of. I'm excited to continue my journey into the world of Dragon Quest, and I hope you guys will continue to join me. If you like this video, please subscribe and hit the like button down below, and don't forget to drop a comment. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get notified and don't miss any of my videos when they come out. I hope you enjoyed this addition to my Dragon Quest journey, and I'll see you next time with the next Dragon Quest video. Thank you guys.